Which you can start.
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वसुदेवसुतम् देवम् कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we are proceeding with our study of Srimad Vibhaga Yoga. There was a question by Arjuna as to what is the status of those who perform their activities, obviously religious activities, with Shraddha, but without following the rules of Shastra. Shraddha being defined as faith in Guru's words and faith in Shastras. Absolute faith. Now, Bhagavan gave a reply that Shraddha, what you are saying as they have Shraddha, what type of Shraddha? Because in the previous chapter, we have seen there are three qualities of the mental modes, Sattvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa. So, which Shraddha are you talking about? That was the way he started explaining. He said that if you have Sattvika Shraddha, there is no question of violating the Shastra. If you have Rajasa Shraddha, you may not violate the Shastra, but you may indulge in ostentation and other evil qualities. If you have Tamasi Shraddha, not only you will not follow the Shastras, you will follow all wrong methods. Like this, he said Shraddha has to always to be defined in these three ways. Then he started defining the three classes of ahara, sattvika, rajasa, and tamasa, because it is the ahara, it is the food that makes the mind, and it is the mind which determines all that we are discussing. Then, what are the three main activities which a man should engage himself in? Yajna, dana, and tapas. So he is classified yajna also into three types: Sattvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa. Then tapas also into three types. Three types being mano, vak, kaya, tapas. Tapas by the mind, tapas by the words, and tapas by the body. Tapas by the body was defined in sloka number 14. Now sloka number 15 defines tapas through words. Sloka number 15.
अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्यायाभ्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते.
Vangmayam tapa uchyate. That is called tapas of the words, of speech. If you want to discipline your speech, then the speech should have certain qualities. Now he is giving those qualities. Anudvegakaram vakyam. Words which do not cause agitation in the minds of the listener. Adukhakaram vakyam. The words do not cause misery, agitation, grief, this kind of feelings. That is important. Satyam. At the same time, you should be speaking the truth always. Never swerve from the truth. Equally, priyahitam. It should be pleasing to the listener, priya, and it should be in the long-term interest of the listener, not in the short-term interest. It is only the long-term good, what we saw as Shreyas in earlier definitions. Hita is same as that. Hita is something which will do good to the listener, not temporary pleasure, not that. That is not Hita. Priya is yes, what he loves to hear, what he does not hate to hear. That is Priya. So you should have all these qualities. The word should be truthful. The word should be loving to the listener. The word should be in the long-term good of the listener, and it should not cause any type of agitation and grief in the listener. Then this is when you are talking to somebody. When you are not talking to somebody, use your speech for study of Vedas and Shastras. Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Chaiva. Swadhyaya is what we call nowadays as Parayanam, Veda Parayanam, Srimad Bhagavata Parayanam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Parayanam, etc., etc. So, Swadhyaya is self-study. The direct meaning is self-study. Self-study means chanting of Vedas, etc., Shastras, etc., Puranas, etc., that is Swadhyaya. Abhyasanam, practicing that. That also should be done properly. Veda cannot be chanted any way you like. There are rules, Swara rules. Similarly, for other Shastras, there are methods, how to start, how to end, how to pronounce, etc. So that is Abhyasanam. You have to practice. Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Chaiva. Now all these constitute Vangmayam Tapaha. Priyahite Drishta Drishtarthe. That is, there are goals which are visible to us, there are goals which are not visible to us. Drishta, adrishta. So all types of goals should be in the interest of the listener. That is why Shankara is defining Priyahite as Drishta Drishta. Visible and invisible results should be in the interest of the listener, in the spiritual interest of the listener. Now, he is giving an example. Now, Shankara is giving an example of such words. Shanto bhava vatsa swadhyayam yogam cha anutishta tatha te shreyo bhavishyati iti. This kind of words, of course, these are words spoken by a guru to a teacher. Similar words have to be extrapolated for other circumstances. Shanto bhava vatsa, be quiet. Quietening the mind. Swadhyayam yogam cha anutishta. Chant the Vedas. Follow yogic practices. Tatha te shreyo bhavishyati. That will lead to Shreyas, the long-term spiritual advancement. This kind of words, this kind of, he's giving an example, this kind of words follow all the rules. Anudvegakaram, Satyam, Priyahitam. This kind of words is what we should use. Manusmriti also defines the same. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, na bruyat, satyam apriyam, priyam cha nanritam bruyat, yesha dharma sanatanaha. You should speak the truth and it should also be pleasing to the listener. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Na bruyat, satyam apriyam. What is not liked by the listener, even though it is true, do not give that out. Priyam cha nanritam bruyat. It doesn't mean that something is false and you say that because he loves to hear it. So the two go together. Priyam and Satyam go together. You cannot choose one and leave the other. Priyam cha nanritam bruyat. Yesha dharma sanatana. In fact, Shankara goes to great detail in explaining that all the qualities, one, two, three, Anudvegakaram, Satyam, Priyahitam, all three qualities should be followed. You cannot exclude one from the other. Then you are not doing Vangmayam Tapas. He is making it absolutely clear. Now, yeah, I picked up नीतिशतकं श्लोक केयूरान विभूषयन्ति पुरुषं हारान चन्द्रोज्ज्वला न स्नानं न विलेपनं न कुसुमं नालङ्कृता मूर्धजाः वाण्येका समलङ्करोति पुरुषं या संस्कृता धार्यते क्रियन्ते खलु भूषणानि सततं वाग्भूषणं भूषणम् केयूरा न विभूषयन्ति. Keura is one of the ornaments worn in the hand, like a bangle of the women, men also. So that is not the real ornament for a human being. Keura is not an ornament. Hara na chandrojjala, hara, necklaces, beautiful necklaces, chandrojjala, shining like a moon. They are not ornaments. Na snanam, na vilepanam, na kusumam, na alankrita murthajaha. Snanam, bathing with all fragrances, then applying the fragrances, na vilepanam. Fragrances like sandal paste, etc. on the body. Na kusumam, using flowers for ornaments. Nalankrita murdhajaha. Murdhajaha is hair on the head. Special ornaments for hair on the head, like crown, etc. All kinds of ornaments. So those are not real ornaments. The flower, the ornaments on the head, the sandal paste, the bathing fragrances, they are not real ornaments. Then what is real ornament for a human being? Vanyeka samalankaroti purusham ya samskrita dharyate. Ya vani samskrita dharyate. Vani also he is qualifying as samskrita. Vani is speech. That Vani, that speech, Yavani, which is Samskrita. Samskrita means refined. How to refine the speech? By following these qualifications which have been dictated by Bhagavan. Then it is refined. So if your speech is refined, that kind of speech, if you practice, yadharyate, if you are holding that kind of speech, that is the real ornament. Samalankaroti purusham, that is the real ornament. Sriyante khalu bhushanani satatam. All other ornaments which were discussed in the previous lines, they will all die after some time. They will all decline. But Vagbhushanam, Bhushanam, the ornament of speech will remain the speech all the time. It's a very famous shloka of Bhartrhari from Niti Shatakam, oft quoted, to emphasize the importance of cultivating good speech. अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्यायाभ्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते. Next.
मनः प्रसादः सौम्यत्वं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भावसंशुद्धिरित्येतत् तपोमानसमुच्यते.
Tapo manasam uchyate. That tapas, that discipline is called mental tapas. What is mental tapas? Mana prasadaha. Manataha prashantihi. Always you should have peace of mind, tranquility in the mind. No agitation, free from agitation, full of peace. That is manaprasada. Saumyatvam means saumanastyam. That is favorable mental attitude. Whenever you talk to somebody, you should develop a favorable mental attitude. Not only when you talk to somebody, even when you think of something, because always man has got thoughts. Even when he is keeping quiet, thoughts are there. What kind of thoughts? Saumyatvam, favorable thoughts. Not only favorable to your personality, favorable to the others. Never think of harm to others. That is saumyatvam. Mukhadi prasadi karyonneya antakaranasya vrittihi. Saumyatvam refers to antakaranasya vrittihi, the mental mode, which will show itself on your face. Mukhadi prasadadi karyonneya, from your mental, from your facial gesture, etc., your mental state will be easily found out. So be careful with your mental state. Maunam is, now here we are talking about mind, not the speech. So वाक्संयमोऽपि मनस्संयमपूर्वको भवति इति कार्येण कारणमुच्यते मनस्संयमो मौनम् इति. Normally, keeping quiet, not speaking, is understood as maunam. Correct. So Shankara himself agrees, yes, that is correct. But more important is quietening the mind. If your mind is quiet, automatically your words will be quieted. You will not speak. So, karya karana, he says. So, mental speech, mental quietude is karana, and verbal quietude is karya. Karyena karanam uchyate, manastamyamo maunam iti. Atma vinigraha, mano nirodhaha, sarvadaha samanya rupaha. Controlling the mind, controlling the thoughts of the mind, controlling the modes of the mind, never allowing the mind to go astray here and there. That is Atma Vinigraha. Now, that includes Maunam also. Then why Maunam was separately given? Shankara goes to that extent in explaining that. Vagvishayasya manasaha samyamaha maunam iti visheshaha. Because that is important, because that will result in speech. And speech, if it goes wrong, it will have long-term consequences. So you better be careful with mental quietude corresponding to words. That is more. Then Atma Vinigraha, controlling in all respects. Bhava Samshuddhihi, Paraihi Vyavahara Kale, Amayavitvam Bhava Samshuddhihi. What is purity of mind? Purity of thoughts, purity of emotions. That is Bhava Samshuddhi. What is that? When you are dealing with others, paraihi vyavahara kale, amayavitvam, not cheating, no following of hypocrisy, not being hypocrite, no cheating, that is bhava samshuddhi. This is all manasaha tapaha. मनःप्रसादः सौम्यत्वं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भावसंशुद्धिरित्येतत् तपोमानसमुच्यते. Yes.
श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते.
Now he discussed three types of tapas: Vangmayam tapas, Manomayam tapas, and Kayika tapas. Now the subject was Shraddha. Shraddha was classified into three categories: Satvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa. Now each of those three also falls into these three. See how scientifically Bhagavan approaches the subject. Those three, Vangmana, let us take Vangmaya tapas for example. Vangmaya tapas can be Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa. Manomaya tapas can be Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa. Kayika tapas can be Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa. So what is Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa? Now he is coming to that. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividham narehi aphalakankshibhiryuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. That tapas is called Satvika tapas, which Shraddhaya, Paraya Shraddhaya. Paraya means supreme. That tapas which is marked by supreme Shraddha, Austitya Buddhaya Paraya Prakrishtaya Taptam Anushtitam Tapaha. That is Trividham, Triprakaram. What Triprakaram? What we have just mentioned, Kayaga, Manasa, Vangmaya. So those three Deha Vang Mano Nirvartyam, three adhishtam. That is the meaning. So these three tapas should be marked by supreme Shraddha. Aphalakankshibhir yuktaihi. This is always a very important qualification which we can never ignore. Phalakanksha is looking for a fruit. Tapas also, if you see Puranas, tapas has been performed by asuras, tapas have been performed by many people with a direct expectation of a fruit. As soon as Brahma appears before them, he asks for that particular fruit. So that is phalakangsha, expectation of fruit. Aphalakangsha, that is not looking for a fruit. Then why to do tapas? To do tapas is to discipline the mind, so that mind is always focused on Bhagavan. That is the idea. So the only fruit is Bhagavat Prityartham, Manasuddhyartham, that is Aphalakangshibihi. That kind of tapas is called Satvikam tapas, which is three types again, Kayika, Manasa and Vachika, and which is marked by supreme Shraddha, supreme faith in Shastras and Guru Vakya, and never looking for a fruit. That is Satvika tapas. Niti Shatakam says, Kusumastavakasyeva Dvaye vrittirmanasvinaha Murdhriva sarvalokasya Shirjate vanaye vava. Kusumastavakaha, the bouquet of flowers, like a bouquet of flowers, Dvaye vrittihi manasvinaha, one who has got control over his mind, one who has got majesty in his mind. He is Manasvi. That kind of person has got only two options. Dvayi vrittihi. His mind can go only in two ways. Like a flower bouquet. What is that? Murdhriva sarvalokasya. He may be on the top of all the world. Murdhri. Murdha is head. He may be on the head of all the world. That means he may be praised by the entire world. That is one. Like the flower bouquet occupying the heads of people. Then what is the other alternative? Shirjate vanaye bhava. Nahinto. Otherwise, it will decline. It will face decline in the forest. The flower which is not picked up for making a bouquet and decorating the head of the people, what does it do? It just declines in the forest. Similarly, this man, because his majesty is not in question, either he is respected by everybody, if he is not respected, he will retire to the forest and do tapas alone. That is Shiryate Vanayeka. Shiryate means, in the case of flower, it is decline. In the case of tapasvi, it is thinning himself. It is thinning himself by tapas. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividham naraihi aphalakankshibhir yuktaihi satvikam parichakshate.
सत्कारमानपूजार्थं तपोदम्भेन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं चलमध्रुवम्.
That tapas is called Rajasam tapas, Rajasam proktam, which Satkara mana pujartham tapodambhena chaivayate. That tapas, which is performed for others to say good about me. Satkaraha sadhukaraha sadhuhu ayam tapasvi brahmanaha ityevam artham. Arey, this fellow is really a good tapasvi, very virtuous tapasvi. This kind of praise we expect from somebody. If they praise on their own, that is a different matter. We want them to praise, and for that purpose we do the tapas. Mana puja artham, for the sake of satkara, for the sake of praise from others. Similarly, mananam pratyuthana abhivadanadihi. When the tapasvi comes, people get up, people do namaskara. So he is expecting that. He is expecting that people should get up, people should extend respect to him. In his absence, they should speak good words. In his presence, they should get up and show reverence. Then, tatpodambhena chaiva yat puja. Mana puja. What is puja? Pada prakshalanarchana chayitra. Tadartham. Pada prakshalana, washing the feet. After having welcomed the tapasvi, you wash his feet. You do archana, you do puja to his feet. Ashayatitra, you ask him to have food. So this kind of upachara is what you expect. If he does on his own, that is not the topic of the discussion. For that purpose, you are doing the tapas. For getting word of praise from him, for getting gestures of reverence from him, and for getting puja from him. Similarly, dambhena, you don't believe in tapas, you want to pretend to do tapas. Ostentation. Dambha we have seen so many times before. Something which you don't possess, but you want to show you are possessing. Ostentation, dambha. And mainly it is marked by ostentation, not simplicity, opposite of simplicity. If your tapas is marked by these qualities, kriyate tat iha proktam. In this world, that tapas is called rajasam tapas because it is chalam adruvam, chalam. Kaudachitka phalattvena. It may give some fruit sometimes. That is why it is chalam. Chalam means you may get satkara, amana, puja, etc. sometimes. So that should not make you deviate from the path. If it does, then it is rajasam, chalam. So sometimes it gives fruit. Adruvam, never permanent. This kind of tapas will never lead to any permanent benefit. So that is Rajasam tapas. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaivayat kriyate tadiha proktam Rajasam chalamadhruvam.
मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्स्यादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
Now what is tamasam tapas? Tat tamasam udahritam. That tapas is called tamasam tapas, which मूढ़ग्राहेण यत् आत्मनः पीडया क्रियते तपः यत् तपः that tapas क्रियते which is performed मूढ़ग्राहेण by a wrong understanding मूढ़ग्राहेण अविवेक निश्चयेन it is not with proper discrimination. You don't do tapas for something good, you do tapas for something which you find as short-term benefit. That is aviveka. So that is moodha. Moodhagrahena, by resorting to moodhatva, by resorting to aviveka, by resorting to lack of discrimination. Not only that, atmanaha pidaya. You are troubling yourself for no reason. That tapas is not going to give you any benefit, but you are unnecessarily torturing yourself. Why you are torturing? One commentator gives a very beautiful explanation for that. Why you are torturing? यदि एते तपः चरन्ति तर्हि अहमपि एतत् तपः अधिकं करिष्यामि इति एवमादिरूपेण आत्मनः पीडया. He'll give him one example. He finds other tapasvis doing tapas, so he wants to get a name. I am doing a more severe, more intense tapas than these fellows. People should recognize my tapas as greater than them. So I will torture myself to any extent because I want people's recognition. That kind of attitude, atmanaha pidaya, torturing oneself. Parasya utsadanartham, wow, that is the most evil thing. And also for torturing others, for harming others. Parasya utsadanartham, vinashartham, for troubling, for torturing, for destroying others. That kind of tapas. So he is giving 3 qualifications for tamasam tapas. One is it is marked by lack of discrimination because he is choosing short-term goal. He is not choosing long-term goal. Then Atmanaha Pidaya, he is torturing himself with no benefit accruing to him, simply because people should recognize his tapas, or for some such silly reason. Or and wa can be interpreted as or as and. In this case, it can be or and. Paratya utsadanartham, for torturing others. That is the worst of the 3. If your tapas is marked by these 3 qualities, then it is tamasam. And this tamasam tapas can be through words, through body, and through mind. Again, so all this comes under tamasam. Moodhagrahena atmano yate edaya kriyate tapaha parasyotsādhanārtham va tattamasamudahritam.
दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयतेनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्.
After yajna, Bhagavan takes the subject of dana. Yajna, dana, tapas. That was the 3 major subjects he wanted to discuss. Ahara was the basic to all, so he discussed it first. But the main subjects are yajna, dana, and tapas. So yajna and tapas he discussed. Now he has taken dana. What kind of dana is called sattvika? What kind of charity? Tad danam sattvikam smritam. That dana is recognized as sattvika dana. Which dana? Yad danam datavyamiti diyate. That dana which is given with the idea that it must be given, not under any other compulsion. I must give this dana. That is my conviction. That is out of conviction that this dana has to be given. That is first condition. Second, anupakarine, not expecting anything in return. Pratyupakara asamarthaya. There are two subclauses which Shankara is giving here, anupakarine. That is, not expecting help in return from somebody who has the capability. That is one. Samarthaya api nirapeksham diyate. Even if that man is having capability, I don't expect it from him. That is the anupakarine. Even if that person has the capability of giving return help, I don't expect it from him. I am not giving that dhanam for that purpose. Second case is, he has no capability and still I call him and give him dhanam. So there's no question of expecting because he has no capability. Both cases it is anupakarine. Then 3 more important clauses. Deshe kale cha patre cha. This is a very oft quoted shloka from Bhagavad Gita as regard dhanam. Dhanam has to be performed in the right place, desha. Dhanam has to be performed at the right time, kala. The dhanam has to be performed to a proper person, to a suitable person, patra. These 3 are important. All the 3 are important. It's not as if you can choose one and ignore the other 2. No. Shankara makes it very clear. Deshe punye kurukshetradau. He is giving the example of Kurukshetra. Shankara gives the example of Kurukshetra. Sacred places like Kurukshetra doesn't mean that only Kurukshetra is mentioned. He is giving an example. Kurukshetra, Kashi, Rameshwaram, whatever Punya Kshetras are there in India, many are there. Kale, what kind of time? Sankrantyadau, the transiting of Surya from one Rashi to another Rashi is called Sankranti. From Uttarayana to Dakshinayana, Dakshinayana to Uttarayana, Makara Sankranti, etc. In fact, every month it travels from one Rashi to another Rashi. Every month we have the Sankranti. Those two Uttarayana or Ayana Sankrantis, which are major Sankrantis. But other than that, we have Sankranti every month. And he is giving an example. Sankranti is not the only time when you should give Dhanam. He is giving an example. Sankranti Adau. Patre Shadanga Vidveda Parege Ityadau. Somebody who is a great Vedic scholar who has mastered not only Vedas, he has also mastered Sharangas, the six auxiliaries of Vedas, Shiksha, Vyakaranam, etc. So, that kind of person, if you get, even Desha Kala are not favorable, you should do. This is the Shastra rule. If you get a good Patra, don't look for Desha Kala, because the Patra may not be available tomorrow. So, if you get a good Patra, give the Dhanam immediately. If you get good Kalam and if you get a good Patra, it is better, but at least you don't ignore that Kalam. Similarly, when you go on a Tirtha Yatra, you go to a particular Tirtha, you don't look for the best man there. Whoever is available, the best out of them, Patra. And you may not have the opportunity to look for the most favorable time, Kala. Your time, that is the Tirtha Yatra when you go. What is called Tirtha Shraddha is performed in many places. That need not be any particular tithi or anything like that. Whenever you go, that is the tithi. So that is the kala. Similarly, dhana. You go and take sacred bath in the tirtha, do tirtha shraddha, and do dhana. So these are all basic shastra rules which Bhagavan is bringing out here. And if you follow these rules, then that is satvikam dhanam. Taddanam satvikam smritam. Dhatavyamiti. This dhanam is stipulated. I must do this, whether anybody compels me or not, whether I have the resources or not. Even if I don't have the resources, somehow I have to create the resources because I have come on a Tirtha Yatra. This dhanam must be performed. So that is dhatavya. And no expectation of return help, whether the person is capable or incapable. That is anupakare. And the right place, right time, and right recipient. Now, this is Satvikam Dhanam. Now, on Dhana, many Subhashitas are there which define the Dhana quality in great detail. I picked up a few. One is very nice, very interesting. We'll start with that. Ajnone vitaratyarthan punardaridra shankaya prajñopi vitaratyarthan punardaridra shankaya. The ignorant man does not give dana because he feels he may become poor tomorrow. By giving dana today, daridya shankaya, with this doubt that I will become poor tomorrow because I am parting with wealth. My personal wealth I am parting with. So I will definitely become poorer tomorrow. So why will I do dharma today, dana today? That is ignorance. Now, prajna, one who is a scholar, he also has daridrya shankaya. He knows that he may become poor tomorrow for any other reason. So he must rush with dhanam today. Look at the attitude difference. Prajñopi vitaratyarthan punardaridrya shankaya. He also has the same doubt. He may become tomorrow. The first fellow had a doubt that he will become tomorrow because he is parting with his wealth. The second fellow, who is a scholar, he also has a doubt that he may become poor tomorrow by any other reason because wealth is inconstant. Wealth is not going to be eternally with you. So he knows that. So wealth being inconstant, today I have the wealth, today is the time to do dana. So prajñopi vitaratyarthan punardaridrya patra patra vivekosti dhenu pannagayor Trinat sanjayate kshiram, kshirat sanjayate visham. Patra and apatra. He is giving an example. Dhenu pannagayor yatha, like a cow and like a snake. like a cow and like a snake, you should distinguish the patra, whether he is a suitable patra, whether he is not a suitable patra. What does cow do? Cow takes grass and gives you milk. And what does snake do? He takes milk and gives you poison. So you should distinguish between Devanu and Pannaga, cow and the snake. Trinat sanjayate kshiram, kshirat sanjayate visham, देशकालागमद्रव्ये क्षेत्रदातृमनोगुणाः सुकृशस्यापिदानस्य फलातिशयहेतवः. Sukrishasyapi danasya. Dana need not be very large quantity or something glorious. It may be very small. In previous times, there used to be what is known as Kaveri Snana in places like Mayur. And in those days, 10 paisa, 25 paisa, that used to be the Kaveri Snanam Dhanam. You go and take bath in Kaveri and give the Dhanam to as many people as you can. So it is not a question of the quantity of Dhanam. So Krishasyapi Dhanasya. Phala Atishaya Hetavaha. So extraordinary good fruits you will get, even if the dana is a small quantity. How? Deshakala, Dharmadravya, Kshetradatra, Manogunaha. Desha Kala we have seen before. Agamadravya, Deshakala, Agamadravya. Whatever dravya is immediately available to you. Don't say, tomorrow I will get more gold, tomorrow I will do dana. No, whatever gold you have today, you do dana. Agamadravya. Whatever gold, whatever resources you have today, do that. Don't postpone to tomorrow. Kshetradatra manoguna. Kshetra is patra, for the person who receives. Datra manoguna. Datavyamiti yaddanam, he said, no, that is datra manoguna. The mental attitude of the person who gives. So these are the important things. Now the other Subhashita is from Raja Tarangini, very interesting. This is the history of kings of Kashmir. A book was brought out on Raja Tarangini and a couple of other Kashmir Puranas written by me 2 years ago by Acharya Swamiji. In that Raja Tarangini, the poet Kalhana has written a very long epic poem. There he is discussing various kings, their exploits, their religious attitudes, etc. One particular king he is describing. He says he was traveling, that king was traveling, and he went to a place and started taking rest. He became tired, he looked for a garden, he took some rest. At that time, he asked his servants, you bring cherry fruits, because Kashmir is known for cherry fruits. So he was saying, bring cherry fruits. But he was not in Kashmir. He was in some other place where cherry fruits are simply not available. He knows that. But still he was asking, bring cherry fruits. The most important thing is, when people were not knowing how to satisfy this king's desire, suddenly a couple of people came from where nobody knows, and they brought plate full of cherry fruits. Then this king asked, from where you got these cherry fruits? They said, from Swargaloka. These are the stories of Kashmir. Actual historical stories, not myth, not mythology. We are Devadutas. We have come from Swarga. We have been sent by Indra. Right? They have come from Swargaloka for bringing cherries. Yes. What made you do that? Then they said, in your previous birth, you gave dhanam, which is enabling you to get 100 times this kind of help. This is the word spoken by the Devaduta. Whatever dhanam you gave in your previous birth has accumulated so much punya. This type of cherry which I have brought today, I have to bring 100 times. That is in your account. So first time I have done my duty. सत्क्षेत्र प्रतिपादित प्रियवचो बद्धालवालावलिः निर्दोषेण मनः प्रसाद पयसा निष्पन्न सेकक्रियः दातुस्तत्तदभीप्सितं किल फलं कालेऽपि बालोऽप्यसौ राजन् दानमहीरुहो विजयते कल्पद्रुमादीनपि. This is the word of the Devaduta. He said, Rajan, O king, Dana Mahiruha, the tree of Dana, Vijayate Kalpadrumadinapi. It is victorious even over the Kalpaka fruit. Because Kalpaka tree gives you only when it's present. You have to go to Kalpaka tree and ask, then it will give. You sitting here and thinking of Kalpaka tree will bring you nothing. Whereas sitting here and thinking of cherry tree, he brought the cherry fruits. That is the difference. So it is victorious even over Kalpaka tree because you have done Dana. Dana tree, the tree of Dana. How to grow that tree? He is giving that explanation. Sakshetra Pratipadita Priyavacho Bhattalavala Vali. The tree, the seed has to be planted in a good place. That means Dhanam has to be given to a good person. Priyavacho Baddhalavalihi, and you for retaining the water you put a sand bank around the tree base, isn't it? That is called Alavalihi. Now what is the Alavali here? Priyavachaha, good words, kind words, speak kind words. Nirdoshena mana prasada payasa. The mind has to be peaceful, mind has to be favorable and no negativity. Nirdoshena manaprasada pesa nishpanna sekakriyaha. With that attitude, you pour water into the base, then the seed will grow into a big tree. So that is the actual dana is given as water here in this example. Dhatustattadadhepsitam philagalan palepi balopyaso. Balopi, even though that tree was a small plant at the beginning, it will grow into a large tree, like it has in this king's case. He gave a dhanam for a particular. The dhanam is also explained in the story. I am not going into that. Devaduta explains that what dhanam he gave and what circumstances. When he was terribly hungry, whatever food, a little bit of food he had, he gave it away to two of his guests. That was the great dhanam. So he says, even though it's a small plant, it will go into a large tree and it will bear enormous fruits. So that is the beauty of Dana. From Evan Kalhana's Rajatarangini. Now we go to Niti Shatakam. Danam bhogo nashastisro gatayo bhavanti vittasya yo na dadati na bhunte tasya tritiya gatir bhavati. Tisraha gatayaha vittasya bhavanti. For wealth there are only three avenues. For wealth to go away from you, to part from you, there are only three ways. Dhanam, bhogaha, nashaha. Either you give dhanam, or you enjoy yourself, or it gets destroyed. If you don't give dhanam, if you want to enjoy yourself, fine. You don't give dhanam, you don't enjoy also, you leave it for others to destroy. When you leave this world, this wealth is not going to come with you. So what is going to happen to that wealth? It's going to get destroyed. Maybe it will go into wrong hands and it will get destroyed. Nashaha. So if you enjoy means enjoy for dharma. Now, bhogaha does not mean pleasures of samsara. It means in this context, it should be taken as bhoga as per dharma. So you either give dhanam or you enjoy as per dharma. And if you don't do any of these two, that is destruction. Yo na dadati na bhunte. One who does not give dhanam, one who does not enjoy himself, tasya tritiya gatir bhavati. For his wealth, the third option is the only option, that is destruction. दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयतेऽनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्.
यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसंस्मृतम्.
Next, what is Rajasada? Satvika Danam we have said. Next, Rajasa, then followed by Tamasa. Yattu pratyupakarartham phalam uddishya va. Here va means or. Pratyupakarartham, expecting some help in return. For that purpose, I do dhanam. If I give dhanam today, that fellow will give me something else at a suitable time, at a later date, so that he will help me. With that expectation, I give dhanam today. That is the Rajasam dhanam. Phalam uddishya, well, this man may not give me anything, but definitely I will get the fruit today or tomorrow. That king in Rajatarangani, he got the fruit in his next birth. So expecting something unknown, unseen, that is phalam uddishya. Bhavishyati adrishtam iti tat uddishya. Pariklishtam, and not in a happy frame of mind. This dhanam I have to give because people are watching me. This man with so much of resources is not even willing to give 10 rupees. What is this nonsense? People will speak ill of me. So because of that, though I don't want to give, though I have no interest in giving dhanam, I give dhanam with a restless peace of mind, restless mind, pariklishtam, kheda samyaktam, with misery in the mind. If your dhanam is marked by these qualities, then it is rajasam dhanam. Expecting fruit, expecting help in return, expecting a fruit known or unknown at a later date, and with no interest in giving dhanam because of circumstances, troubling yourself. That dhanam is rajasam dhanam. यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसं स्मृतम्.
अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
Taddanam is called tamasa. Tat tamasam udahritam. Which Adeshakale apatrebhyascha, just opposite of what was Satvika Dana. Desha, Kala and Patra are all wrong. Desha is wrong, Kala is wrong, Patra is also wrong. Adeshakale apatrebhya. Apunya deshe, you go to a place which is Mlecha Shuchadi Sankirne, a place which is not fit for dana. It is surrounded by evil people or impure place. You go and give danam there. Akale punyahetutvena aprachyate sankrantyadi vishesharahite. You choose the time purposely which is not at all good for dhanam. Sankranti, etc., that kind of time is not there. That is what. Then, apatrebhyaha, murkha tatkaradibhyaha, fools, thieves, that kind of people, you choose and give dhanam to them. Apatra. Asatkritam deshadi sampatta va. Even if the place, time, etc. are okay, if it is not given with proper satkara, that is, with proper words. You should speak good words while giving dana. Priyavachana pada prakshalana pujadi rahitam. Good words, washing the feet, doing puja, etc. are part of the process of dana. You don't want to do all that, then that is asatkrita. Avajñatam, this is still worse. Asatkrita means not doing what is prescribed in the Shastra, like washing the feet, like speaking kind words, like doing puja. Now you don't want to do that. Not only that, you won't disrespect him. Avijñātam. You won't insult him. Arey, this fellow has come for dana. He has no other job. Take it. If you give dana with these words, what is that? Is avijñā. Avijñā is disrespect, disgrace. So that is tamasam danam. Adeshakale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkratam avajñātam sattamasamudahritam.
ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशः ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविधः स्मृतः ब्राह्मणस्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञाश्च विहिताः पुरा.
Now he jump into another subject. What is that subject? Subject is he defined yajna, dana and tapas. Satvika yajna, satvika dana, satvika tapas. Similarly, rajasa, tamasa, yajna, dana, tapas were defined. So, assuming that we are all looking for satvika yajna, satvika dana, satvika tapas, we make all our efforts towards that goal. Will we achieve that goal, even though we have full shraddha, we have full faith, and we put in our best of efforts towards satvika yajna, satvika dana, satvika tapas? We put in, because yajna, dana and tapas are the basic constituents of our path towards moksha. That is why he is choosing these three. Why? Yajna is taking us closer to Bhagavan. Because what is moksha? Going towards Bhagavan, leaving samsara behind. So yajna means puja. Even meditation is yajna. Dhyana yajna. Bhagavan himself mentioned. So that is taking us closer to Bhagavan. Then dana and tapas. Dana is getting away from mundane attractions. By giving dana, your attraction towards mundane things will gradually come down. That is what is meant by dana. You will develop disinterest in worldly possessions. So that is why he has chosen dana as the second subject. Tapaha. Now, unless you discipline your mind and body, both these yajna and dana will not bear fruit. It has to be done with proper body and proper mind. Body and mind are essential tools for proper yajna and proper dana. So the tool has to be perfected, that is tapas. So these three are important. The tool and the two actions. One is taking us towards Bhagavan. Second is taking us away from samsara. That is why Bhagavan chose these three. Now, having chosen these three, you are aiming at sattvika, but you are not achieving because of certain deficiencies. What to do? So Bhagavan is giving a way out of that. Om tat saditi nirdesho brahmana trivida smritaha brahmana tena vedascha yajnascha vihita pura. Parabrahman is our goal. Brahmanaha, Parabrahman. That Parabrahman is defined in three ways. It's referred to in three ways. Om, Tat, Sat. These are the three ways in which Parabrahman is referred. Om Tatsaditi Nirdeshaha. Nirdesha is indication or definition. Trividaha Nirdeshaha. Three types of definition, three types of indication. Smritaha or given. For what? For Parabrahma, Brahmanaha. Om Tat Sat. Om we have seen in detail. Om is the basis of entire creation. Om has got three elements, A, U, Ma and the Bindu. And it refers to all that you find in samsara and the one beyond. Bindu refers to the fourth Turiya state. That is Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. If you take, for example, the fourth is Turiya state, Samadhi state. That is Om. Om covers everything. So Om refers to being in samsara and not leaving Bhagavan. Tat refers only to Bhagavan. Tat is Paramatma. Tat, that is Paramatma. Sat is, that Paramatma is eternal. It is not as if He is there today, he is not there tomorrow. So that is eternal. So these are the three references. Something which is eternal only you should look for, isn't it? Something which is going to be here today, not tomorrow. What is the use of running after that, spending all your energy after that? So spend your energy towards Tat, because that is eternal. And while being in samsara, develop detachment by chanting Om. So if you chant these three together, Om, Tat, Sat, then whatever deficiencies were there in your yajna, in your dana, in your tapas, will be made good. This is Bhagavan's promise. That is why whenever we give dhanam in a ritual, we give the dhanam. We say, na mama, sampadade na mama. I am giving this is no more mine. Om Tat Sat, we say finally. That is because of this. If you say Om Tat Sat, whatever deficiency was there in your mind, in your speech, in your bodily gesture, or in the dhanam which you are giving, or in the ritual which you have performed, yajna, in the tapas which you have violated, there are certain rules for every puja. You have violated the. You should not take any food before the puja. That was the rule. You have taken food. So this kind of violations are there. So all those will be taken care of by pronouncing Om Tat Sat. Brahmana Tena Vedascha Yajnascha Vihita Pura Pura. In ancient times, Brahmanaha Vedascha Yajnascha Tena Vihita. The Om Tat Sat is the basis on which Brahmanas were created, Vedas were created, Yajnas were created. Nirdeshastatyatham uchyate. That is, Om Tat Sat for developing the right frame of mind towards Om Tat Sat. Why I should pronounce Om Tat Sat? Because you are saying it will purify. Why it will purify? Because of that only Brahmanas came into existence. Because of Om Tat Sat only Vedas came into existence. Because of Om Tat Sat only Yajnas came into existence. Then if that is the basis of all that is good around you, and if you don't care for that, something wrong with you. That is why Bhagavan is making it very clear. Time is up, so we stop now. We continue with the same shloka 23 tomorrow morning. Om Tatsaditi Nirdesho Brahmana Trividha Smritaha Brahmana Tena Vedascha Yajnascha Vihita Pura. Now, any questions?
Girls, you have questions, please unmute yourself, turn on your video and ask questions. Any questions, anybody? Any questions? No questions, Guruji.
No questions. So we close for the day and we take up our study again tomorrow morning, 7 AM IST, Sunday. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Shri Raja Rajeshwarye Jaya Jaya.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.